All right. Might just adjust this back a little bit. There we go. Still working things out. It's the same setup I had a few months ago. There we go. Back up a little bit. Make myself taller. That's what I need to do. It's been a long time, you can tell. There we go. Make myself taller. There we go. Way better. Way better. About to buy a Zoom for a month or something. Even though this is one night only. For now. You never know where I'll be, where we're heading to, what we're doing. All I know is here. Is where we are. How's that audio sound? Let me see. Ooh, I can hear me. Okay, we're good. We're set. Let's share this all around. Just like we used to do. All right, all right, all right. It's been a while. It's been a while. I'm not going to sing. Sorry, guys. Don't mean to disappoint. Where we at? Where we at? We're trying to get to a few pages here, actually. There we go. Anybody want to call in? Feel free. Do so. Skinny, what up, my man? I'm going to be keeping an eye on a couple things because I'm going to watch the battery on this. There we go. 52%. That's good by me. All right. Send a messenger. Sending it around to different people. Here we go. Stalling for time. What I used to do. Cold opening. It's been, what, forever ever since we did a real show? But I'll tell you, Nationals over the weekend was pretty crazy. Welcome to tonight's show. We got enough viewers for me to start talking about real stuff. If you want to call in, there's the icon. Preferably TMU or ESR. Or if you went down and won, whether it be in Tampa or Orlando, give us a chime. On the back wall, represented tonight, the Scorpions jersey from just a couple years ago. Way back when they won that B bracket national championship. You remember it was Greg Proctor back then at the quarterback position. In the middle. It was a shirt we did for Ocean City back in 2021. Just kind of happened to be the same exact colors that the elite Scorpion Rebels wore on Sunday night when they beat Main Event. The yellow and the blue. And on the side, celebrating the 20th anniversary of their 2004 Washington County Flag Football League Championship, the Mack Truck Bulldogs. And what we got for tonight, you can't see it, it's the West Virginia Ducks. Closest thing I could get to a whack Rebels jersey, black with yellow print. So it's all about the three pillars of ESR, the Elite, the Scorpions, and the Rebels. Albeit, this is the Ducks. Anyways, anywho, let's take a look at everything that went down this weekend. I'm not going to do a full breakdown, though I might. You never know with me. Like I said, anybody who's trying to get in on this tonight, feel free to send a request in there. I'm not going to openly add anybody. Like I said, it'd be a volunteer basis. We've got a couple people who want to come on tonight. Waiting to see where they're at right now. Looking at the recap from everything the other day. Where's those results at? I should have been more prepared. I know I had a whole time of just sitting there and watching the broadcast earlier. Hope you guys really appreciated that. And appreciated everybody who went down and shot footage over the weekend for Nationals. A lot of people were worried that there wasn't going to be film, but there was plenty of it this weekend. You got to give it up to all the guys who did go down there and make that trip, whether it be Cram who stepped up. Cram who filmed the A championship in a lot of the games. He was out there playing for TMU as well as filming this weekend, so he was pulling double duty. He made sure to help cover the A bracket while also getting himself a B bracket championship. Got to give it up for Cram. TMU, what a run they are currently on right now. We've been talking about it for a year. This team has been on fire. I go back to the potential that they showed. Youngest ever Natty MVP. Oh, I can't vouch on that one, Jamie. But I'll tell you, Jordan has a very strong case. People do not realize how young that kid actually is. I remember when he was 19 years old playing for Augusto Land in that York tournament. That was my first introduction to Jordan on the field. It is, and guess how it gets? The Scorpions of all teams. It's crazy how things just change and evolve over time in this 9-man game. I'm happy for Tim Miller as well. For those who don't know, Tim Miller was TMU's kicker over the weekend. We've been calling him Tim Miller University for a while now. He's been playing in our league for a long time over here in Washington County. He's been playing semi-pro as a kicker for years as well. He has a great legacy out this way. Earned himself a national championship this weekend. I got to give it up to TMU. They helped out Tim back in Charm City. Got him another one here at Nationals. Helped out our man Cram over the weekend. Our guy Ron Savage back in Charm City Classic. Who could forget the performance he had for TMU? The performance TMU has had for the last 2 years is just insane to watch. We go back to where it started at that XFL tournament 2 years ago. And then when I first saw them live, it was against Bad Boys back in Charm City, 2022. They only had 14 that day. They took the Bad Boys to the limit. That game came down to the final 5 minutes. It was tied up prior to that. And what a rally it was by Bad Boys late to win that game. But what a battle it was for TMU to stay in that game in spite of bad circumstances in terms of numbers. And from there, it just got better and better. You go back to Rhode Island back in 22, November. They were this close to knocking off the Lions in the Rhode Island Flag Bowl. And that was during an open tournament, that they were this close to just knocking them off. They almost did it again a couple months later at B Nationals. Just this close to knocking off the Bad Boys. And you sit and wonder, when are they going to break through? When are we going to see this team finally do it? Finally break on through to that other side. Back in Atlantic City, just short to Rampage. The run they're on is insane. Just getting the championship after championship, going toe-to-toe with all these giants in the 9-man game. Lions, Rampage, Bad Boys. And then, the last time we were on a 9-man field, the Charm City Classic. We were there, Jerome Russo and I, covering TMU and Rampage, the rematch. And boy, oh boy, they gave it to Rampage that day. 24-0 was the final of that one. And that was a statement win that has gone a long ways for TMU. They've been riding that momentum ever since. And then this past weekend, they did it again. What a run they had. Like I said, we're going to try to get a couple of players from them on tonight. I know we've been talking to a few. But this was a run that kind of started on a weird note. TMU tied their first 2 games. 2 ties. Not 1 tie, 2 ties. 2 ties means a loss? Ooh, not the way you want to start. You got to get a win to make the cut. That's the only thing. Only 16 make it to Sunday. And a win TMU got. And that win was enough to keep them in for the tournament. Something that was a legit concern. There was a possibility they could miss Sunday depending on how that third game went. And with, you never know. We saw it last year how fast points could swing. That's the thing about these tournaments. You got to come prepared. The playoffs are right there. Money Day is a double elimination tournament practically, with the exception of Sunday. And it's all 3 days. It's a gauntlet. And they ran that gauntlet this weekend and stepped up in a major way where I got to say, you got to give them credit for the start they had, 0-2, on the brink and verge and possibility of elimination, staring down death in front of them. They just rose up to the occasion like they have had all year, like they have had the last 2 years. We can't forget, this just didn't start overnight. This run, as we've said, has been going on for TMU. And you take a look at the results of what they did over this weekend, running that 16-team bracket in the B division, starting with the Massachusetts Titans, the number 4 seed. They were top 4 coming into the weekend, or that Sunday, I should say, and they knocked off the Titans, only to get a rematch with Rampage in the quarterfinals. Usually Rampage play the Titans team on Sunday in the quarters. Not this time. They got TMU. Game 3. The rubber match. The one we've been waiting for. The one that means the most. Rampage gave it to them in AC. TMU gave it right back in Baltimore. And it was TMU who prevailed. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Defense stepping up in a big way. Offensive line for Rampage, just got a tough one, man. Got to give Chris some time back there. That defense there for TMU played tough. I ain't gonna say no names, but got to play better up front, my man. It's like tough game overall for Rampage. TMU stuck it out. They went on through. You got to give it to them. I believe that was a 10-6 final. I might be off on that one. After that, the run continued right into the semifinals, where this time TMU had to go against the FA, South Florida Flag Football Association. You guys might not have heard of that. That's all the way down to South Beach. That's in Miami. For the last couple years, they've been sending teams up to nationals. Case in point, No Excuses, who just a couple years ago got to the Final Four. Knocked off Rampage, the number 1 overall seed in that quarterfinal. Just had a tough fight with PME in the semis. Not much you could do about that. You go back and take a look. A couple years ago, Category 5, played in the A bracket. That was from South Florida. Ricky Jean Francois and company came up here. They made their 9-man debut at A. Punched Dream right in the mouth out the gate. 17-0 donut. Those guys down there, they only play 9-man practically from February to May. They don't play the same times we are. They're playing right after Nationals. They run right through. Of course, they're jumping in and out different teams, playing different styles all year. But those South Florida teams are very underrated. You're talking about a league that's 5 years old right now, about to turn 6. And they are sending teams up there at Nationals. Like I said, SFFA was the number 1 overall seed entering Sunday. TMU was only a 13 seed. A 13 seed. But TMU proved to be victorious in what was a back and forth game. That's on the 9-man page. I got to get back to rewatching that. That was the best part of this weekend, was just sitting back, watching all of this unfold in front of me. I felt like I was just there myself, just watching it. And TMU's run this weekend was unprecedented. Especially that championship game gave it to New Era. That you just saw the film about an hour ago. Defense was very physical and aggressive. Offense was putting up points. New Era just could not get anything going in that championship game. And TMU, at the end of the day, stood tall. They won the B championship. And you got to put it in perspective here. We're talking about a team who the last time I believe they missed a championship game was at Charm City 2022. I'm being serious. We are a year at XFL last year, but I'm a little off on Zoom thing. It's been a while, man. I've set out a lot. This weekend was the most I had a chance to watch, and I was really glad to see them go out there and put in the work. Like I said, if anybody from TMU has anything they want to say tonight, we're also taking calls from guys from ESR. If you are with ESR, you want to say something, or you just want to talk in general, plenty of time I got. We're going to go over this weekend, talk about a few things that happened. But the run TMU is on right now. It's insane. Like they are out of B division. I believe that's graduation finally. That'll open it up for next year. And I'll tell you, the competition in B overall this year, when you take a look at that Final Four, none of those teams under those names or organizations had won a B national championship prior. Only one had been in there, and that was TMU. Some might have had experience in different places, but you look at B now, it's wide open. Arguably the best team of the last 2 years in the B division is gone. You get no disrespect to Bad Boys. They graduated. TMU took that spot the minute the Bad Boys graduated, and they held on to it all year and proved without a doubt that they are the best team in the B division. Now they have the opportunity to jump to A. ESR versus TMU. I'll tell you, 2024 is already starting off interesting. Speaking of ESR, wow, it's been a while for this region since they've won the A National Championship. I know 7-point spread from Virginia, but Baltimore, you got to almost go back to 2010. That's where a lot of the Scorpions were based out of. I know there was a core group of the WAC Rebels based out of DC, and that's kind of what made that championship bittersweet from the standpoint of seeing those two come together, because let's be real, they've all been together some way or another, whether it be across sidelines or on the same team over the years. And for this squad to come together and make the run they did at Nationals, you got to give it up to them. ESR, I don't think a lot of people were giving them a chance coming in, at least in terms of a large scale. Everybody thought Main Event could do it again, Rollers could step up again. Lions have always been in the thick of things when it comes to that championship scenario. Bad Boys, I think, was getting a lot more talk, even though ESR had beaten the Bad Boys in the BFFL. I don't think a lot of people were giving them the talk they deserved. And I think a lot of that had to do with not having success in tournament play throughout the year. You could argue this team did not win as much as you would think. And now that being said, with the Scorpions were very close at Ocean City in 22. It wasn't like they weren't out of their element. Some people did believe they were going to be a, what was that, quote unquote, easy Sunday. I can't remember offhand. You guys remember the quote. You know what they said about ESR. ESR stepped up in a big way. And it started on Sunday when they took on the Bad Boys. Because that game right there was without a doubt the regional championship for this area. They were the only two A teams left standing from this area. They were the only two teams left standing from this area. All the B teams have been eliminated by this point. Rampage and Rideout were the last two out in the B division. Rideout in the first round, Rampage in the quarterfinals. The Bad Boys and ESR. The B champion of last year, and a core that began with a B championship in 2020, adding pieces that came from different paths and different ways. Talk about BC Elite when they were coming up almost 5 years ago now. TJ Holston and a few of his guys just trying to find a squad to build with. You talk about where some of the Rebels guys were on Anarchy when that was going on in 2019, when we first started traveling full time on the circuit. Then you think about Summer Showdown, a 14 tournament, TBT, Rampage, BC Elite, it was still called at the time, but you could see the emergence of the Elite Rebels coming out. And on the other side, you had Gusto Land. It was a 14 tournament in York, double elimination. TJ Holston and the Elite Rebels took a loss very early on to Rampage. And in the elimination game against TBT, he threw a pick six on the first play of the game. And then right after that, Holston, the Rebels, they went on a run. Something just changed that day. Something just clicked. They turned around. They beat TBT. They turned around. They got Gusto Land in the rematch, only to fall just short in the championship to Rampage by a single point on a conversion. Think about that same year. Scorpions win the B chip. Think about the emergence of the Elite Rebels and the No Mercy Scorpions at A the next year in 21. Both teams desperately trying to fight to see who will be that next team. You go back to watching the Elite Rebels getting beat up by the Lions in Ocean City. No, wait. The Misfits. And then they turn around and beat the Lions almost 35-34. So close. You can tell it's been a while. My memory's coming back minute by minute. And then the next day they go out and they beat the Rollers. We can. This area can. It just takes a team. It takes a unit to come together. And all throughout that 21, you saw the Elite Rebels and the Scorpions both trying to rise in that A division. And then in 22, Ocean City, the semifinals. You remember the snake incident. We had that big snake on the field. When the Elite Rebels and Scorpions faced off, it came down to a field goal. Scorpions got the block. They got the win. And then a year later, rumors started coming around. Elite Scorpion Rebels? Some didn't believe it. Some thought it was BS. There was no way. I don't know why they thought that, but they did. Others said, intriguing, interesting. What can this core do to continue the success of the Scorpions name, the Rebels legacy, and the elite quarterback in TJ Holston? Put it all together, and you have a contender. And the run they made on Sunday morning, it was either Sunday evening, because they started mad late. They were almost 4 o'clock starting. But it was worth it for a real Sunday night football finale. As they went through the gauntlet, they beat the Bad Boys, late interception. They beat the Ducks soundly, and then they finished off with main event. Not a 1-score win, not a 2-score win, a 3-score win off a pick 6 walk-off at the end. Jordan Lagana, young Jordan Lagana, same guy who I ragged on for getting pressed at Clash of York back in 2020, but yet had the game-winning dagger for Gusto Land that stabbed the Scorpions right in the heart. St. Jordan Lagana with the pick 6 to end the national championship game. Time just happens fast. And it takes time to build, it takes time to grow, it takes time to find the things you need to be successful, whether that applies to flag football or in life. What the Elite Scorpion Rebels did over the weekend was prove a lot of people wrong about what teams in this. It's been one of the update of all things. A long time ago, someone said out loud that no DMV team can ever win an A championship. 7 Point was a fluke, they said. No other team can do it. This past weekend, the Elite Scorpion Rebels did just that. They stepped up when it mattered, and they got the gold. They grabbed the brass ring. They did something that a lot of these teams whose jerseys I have collected in this room have never done. And did something that a lot of men in this sport strive out to do from the moment they sign up. When it starts out as just you and your guys, you and your friends. then time changes. Friends fade. You still want to go out there and play. So you have to find a pathway after everything's over. So you have to find that championship. But what it takes is a core group of men with common goals and common interests on the field, and to a degree off the field. Because you got to at least tolerate each other long enough to get through a weekend together if you're going to be successful. You got to get along long enough on the field to get through a weekend to be successful. And what happened this past weekend was we saw two teams in the form of ESR and TMU come together, step up, grab the brass ring, and become champions and prove that, yes, you can. You just got to do whatever it takes. Congratulations to both squads. We'll see you soon.